Today, on this special edition of Mountbatten's Marvels, we bring you In Search of the Dust Bunny. Ever since the advent of psychiatric medicine, pioneered by such courageous men such as Freud, Mannherz, and Kraepelin, there has been worldwide acceptance and treatment of such mental disorders such as schizophrenia, paranoia, ancient alien syndrome, or AS for short, and PTSD. Today, researchers in the field are tracking at an alarming rate the rise of a hereunto unknown malady, said to have been affecting children for years, and now as adults has manifested itself into an all-encompassing, gut-wrenching, physically paralyzing, mind-enveloping stupor known as Hasenpfefferopathy, or in its generic, more common terminology, Dust Bunny Syndrome, or DBS for short. Today, we are going to examine the etiology of this malady, observe its cause and effect, explore its current ramifications, bring you exclusive interviews with those who have suffered and those who are suffering from DBS, in the hopes of helping those trapped in their warrens to come into the light and seek medical care for this once misunderstood, but now rapidly spreading condition. Through exhaustive methodologies, researchers have discovered the deep-seated origins of this paranoia. It is as old as time and seated in the human psyche, as strong as the struggle against the primordial forces of good and evil, God and the devil. It has been passed down from generation to generation through word of mouth, to where storytelling fact turns to legend, and legend turns to myth. Where you have fairy tales by Mother Goose, you also have their grim side. As far back as I can remember, my parents used to tell me bedtime stories. When I tried to get out of bed and go to the bathroom and get a drink of water, they would tell me that I couldn't because the dust bunnies would abduct me. They went on to explain that they lived under the bed. Well, then this begs the question as to who they were. How did they get there? And more importantly, what did they want? I mean, to tell you, my paranoia got so bad, I was afraid to even look under the bed anymore. I stopped playing in my bedroom and made makeshift tents in my basement. There for a while, I was even afraid to go to sleep at all. And it wasn't just me. All my friends had succumbed. It was a collective neighborhood consciousness, so to speak. Everybody was trying to come to grips with good and evil, Santa Claus and the Krampus. And it wasn't long before everybody made the rabbit connection. I mean, come on, animals are supposed to nurture their young, survival of the fittest, that sort of thing. So what is it with this Easter Bunny character who comes around and lays its eggs? I mean, he doesn't even attempt to hide them or save them from predators. He just lays them around for human beings to ingest them. I mean, if that doesn't smack of infanticide, I don't know what does. I mean, come on, kids aren't stupid. We made the Dust Bunny, Easter Bunny connection right away. As much as parents tried to placate their children thereafter with stories of the good rabbits, the helpful rabbits, the kind and sweet and fluffy petable dust bunnies, it was too late. The seeds of doubt had been sown. The lies had been told for far too long. And in that itself spread the paranoia, the doubt and fear, the endless sleepless nights and fear of mall shopping. The children knew the truth, and the truth was paralyzing. The disease itself reached epidemic proportions in the mid-70s with the cinematic release of the unbridled documentary about brave knights leaving their hometown to escape their personal dust bunnies, to seek their fortune in the world at large, only to have their exploits confirm what the children already knew were there: the rabbit connection. Their unwitting travels led them directly into the path of the killer bunny. Despite their heroic efforts, they were no match for the clever fiend. Parental care, bedtime stories, and the sale of Easter candy fell dramatically during this turbulent period. Needless to say, alcohol, counseling, and mind-altering drugs all saw a dramatic increase during this same period. That is to say, on the adults' part. As for the children, those who remained dutifully awake in the evenings could only hope that the noise down the hall was just that, a noise. That there was nothing lurking in the basement or living in the attic. And that there were no dust bunnies living under their beds waiting for them to fall asleep. In the months and years that followed the epidemic, dedicated professionals in the medical, biological, and genotropic arenas compiled volumes of information concerning DBS and its symptoms. Along with this information, psychological profiling experts such as Dr. Phil and Dr. Ruth worked tirelessly with the parents in order to change parental behavior towards a more honest, straightforward approach. And thanks to children's programming such as Sesame Street and Mr. Rogers, the children are breaking the barriers of paranoia and dealing much better with the reality versus fairy tale scenarios. With the right diet, proper exercises, and daily vacuuming under the bed, Hasenpfefferopathy would be a thing of the past, and DBS could be controlled. Today, people with DBS are finding out they are not alone. They are living a much richer and rewarding life. We all have beds. We all have parents. We've all heard the fairy tales. Siblings can reassociate with each other without fear of alienation or household reprisal. Loved ones can talk openly with each other, develop daily cleaning schedules, and, regardless of who's telling the bedtime stories, grim or otherwise, feel confident in the knowledge that we've all been there. Some of us still believe in the Easter Bunny and sleep in our own beds. Others, well, living with DBS is possible. That is, until you have children, and your children have children, and Monty Python remakes the Holy Grail. Then, it starts all over again. God help us. This is Monty Mountbatten saying, good evening.